And welcome everyone in to the September edition of the Index Coop Community Call. As promised, today we're going to be going through our newly unveiled product roadmap, talking about all of what we've got going on at Index Coop, keep everyone up to date in and across our community. Got some special guests with me here today. I'll be hosting our head of product and our head of engineering. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? Alan, you can go first.
Sure. So I also go by C Squared out there, but Alan G, as most of the Coop knows me. Been leading our product team for a few months now. Been a long-time product contributor, and very eager to get into the roadmap with everybody today.
And our head of engineering, NPB.
Hey, Cruz. I'm not PB on Twitter and also go by PB Livin on GitHub. I've been with Index Coop as a smart contract engineer since February of this year and spent some time working at Set Labs before then.
Welcome. NPB, a more recent addition to the team, but already pulling enormous weight and leading our engineering team. A little bit of housekeeping before we begin. Of course, the roadmap is available on the Index Coop site, indexcoop.com/roadmap. You can go check it out, see what we're up to. We'll go through every one of the products that we have on there and go through all the different statuses that they can be in on the roadmap. But the roadmap is now yours. It is free on our website and open to all. If you're joining us in the live stream, if you have any questions, please ask away. We'll see your comments coming into the stream, whether you're on our YouTube channel, on our Twitter page, or you've RSVP'd to the event. And as always, you're welcome to join the Index Coop Discord, chat with us. Alan, myself, and NPB are always available on the interwebs for our community members that want to chat with us. And of course, disclaimer, I'll let you guys read the disclaimer for yourselves, but TLDR, this content is for informational purposes only, not financial advice, not legal advice, not tax advice. But excited to be here. Sweet graphic, you may have seen the thumbnail for this event. That's all of our Twitter @. I'm Cruz, the ecosystem growth lead here at Index. I host these community calls as well as manage all of the kind of communications channels, social media efforts at Index Coop, and handle a lot of distribution partnerships work as well. And these guys have already introduced themselves, but let's introduce the content that we're going to be talking about today. The roadmap itself, of course, we'll go through it. Recently launched products, not only the stuff that's just roadmap for future, but we'll talk through some of the stuff we've launched so far to date this year and some improvements to existing products, as well as some decision points and forks in the road for how we can continue to change and improve those products to stay innovative and stay with the times. We'll talk through protocol upgrades. Some of you may know we have launched Index Protocol, and all of the products we've launched this year are now on Index Protocol, our own good faith fork of set protocol. And of course, a lot of enhancements we have made to that protocol. The reason we want to have a protocol, of course, is to build, to maintain, to continually upgrade the protocol. So we'll go through kind of the protocol upgrades we have on the roadmap as well. With that, let's introduce what a roadmap is. This is kind of the heading you see if you pull up indexcoop.com/roadmap. We have launched this here today, but it's been a lot of work to get here. Alan, a lot of work led by you and our product team to get to this day where we're able to unveil a roadmap that shows what we're working on for the rest of the year. But why do we choose to build this roadmap and to make it publicly available?
Yeah, so I think, most organizations, especially early stage like ours, are going to have some type of roadmap that they're referencing internally just to align everyone's expectations and also plan for all the work that needs to be done. For years, we've had plenty of internal roadmaps that we've used, we've updated, and we've referenced ourselves. And while we have tried to keep the community abreast of those things, there's a lot of value in making it more transparent and more detailed in a way that can be accessed by anybody, anywhere at their convenience. So that's why the publication of the roadmap here on the website is meaningful. We're really hoping that it creates interest and questions and feedback from people that do want to know a little bit more about what we're working on and why. So I think that if we take a look at some of the different categories here, we try to keep this as straightforward as we can in terms of the stages that a product or a protocol upgrade will move through. But most people are familiar with our products like DPI and DSETH and ICETH. But there's a lot of other development that gets done alongside just pure product development. And so we want to do a better job of capturing and communicating that. So for the purposes of the call today, we'll be talking about product and protocol work. But there's also a lot of meaningful development that gets done for our app, which has got some really exciting developments scheduled for the next quarter. And then also just other sort of front-end dependencies. So, product development is probably what people are most familiar with, what they would be most excited by, but there's some really awesome stuff that's happening on the protocol and the app layer too. So we'll highlight the most interesting things from each of those, but happy to talk through the stages here, and then we can jump into a little more detail per product.
Yeah, I'll jump. I mean, from a marketing point of view, a growth point of view, I think it's really helpful to have this roadmap that extends a little bit farther into the future than just what's up next. Because we put a lot of work, a lot of coordination, a lot of marketing effort into launching a new product. Of course, you want to get as much awareness, as many eyes as you can on a new product. When you finally ship it, it's something you're very proud of. It's something our team's worked really hard on. But there's a lot of work that goes on at Index Coop other than just launching a product. So being able to plan out into the future, okay, what's coming next in what sequence, it's important to have options for many different irons in the fire that we're working on, we're developing, we're taking customer feedback on, we're sharpening the narratives on and the messaging. But it's important to be able to distinguish between what's important and what's urgent. We don't always want to be just scrambling to get the next thing out the door. We want to make sure we're hitting the most important themes in crypto. We're building the best products we possibly can. Without just being on a timeline to, okay, we got to get the next product out the door because we're trying to ship fast. We've been trying to up our delivery cadence of new products recently, while not sacrificing quality. I think NPB coming into the organization has really added a lot of desire for velocity. But we're having this document again. Let's go ahead and talk through what the different stages are. On the far right, that nice teal column for launched. Products in this category are the names that you're going to be familiar with as an Index Coop user or customer. Things like the Bankless Bed Index was launched back in 2021, I believe. At the bottom, ICETH, of course, was launched in, I think, April or May of last year. The Diversified Staked ETH Index our diversified offering of liquid staked ETH tokens was the big launch this year in January. And the Gitcoin Staked ETH Index was shortly after that. Those products are all launched and available to everyone. They've had their marketing launch, which again comes kind of after the product is actually deployed, working backwards here. And then our most recent product launch just last month at Permissionless. You may have seen us wearing these index shirts in Austin. You may have seen us wearing these index shirts in Paris at ETHCC as well. We were able to launch the large cap index, IC21, most recently. So that's what is on that far right column. That's the easiest to explain, right? Products that's already launched in the world. We've already pressed send on the launch thread. That's live on our website. That's live on our app site. Now the pink column just to the left of that, deployed. Okay, NPB has deployed the contract on these products. So you haven't seen them yet from a marketing point of view, but they are already live in the world or on chain at least. But we have not pushed them out from a marketing point of view. So products in this category have been deployed on chain, but are not yet widely available according to our terms of service. Also, they haven't received a marketing launch. So they may still require some testing, use at your own risk if we have not kind of launched a product all the way into the world. Alan, anything to add on kind of what it means for a product to be deployed but not launched from your point of view?
Yeah, I think that it's really the last stage before we go out and push out all the materials and do the launch suite and everything else. There are some products that will sit sort of in the deployed category for a while just because we want to do some extra testing if they have new features. And then there's others that we sort of want to wait until the timing is right. So one of the other terms we use here for deployment is sort of a sandbox. So you can think about it as the kind of the final environment where all the smart contracts and the associated tech is deployed. It's fully functional, but we're sort of waiting for either a little bit more proof that the products are going to do what we expect them to, or just the right moment or the right theme to pop up and to push on the growth side.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll go through the individual items in here later on in the call, but I'll throw it to Pranav here. The stuff that's already deployed, we may be still doing some final testing, but this stuff has already been kind of tested internally and has been audited as well, right? If we put stuff on chain. I know we recently went through an audit with Sherlock that you were kind of heavily involved in, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we find things in this deployment column, it's really that they've gone through the full smart contract development process, which, begins with scoping a contract based on a need, going through implementation, testing, audit, and finally deployment. And, this is kind of when we hand the baton off to our marketing and growth team and, are kind of ready on chain for the right moment to launch.
Yeah, exactly. These products are built well and ready for to be deployed on chain. Obviously, once you deploy something on chain, it's final, it's out there. But we're waiting for the right moment from a marketing point of view, whether maybe we're waiting for the right market environment or the right marketing environment, right? Those are certainly two separate things. And then moving to the purple column here for development. This category lists things where our engineering team is working on building the product in this category. So we've already decided that we think there's a really strong product here. We want, everything that hits the purple column, we want it to be hitting the deployed and launched column by the end of the year, where we sit right now, and with it being in September. So we've got some pretty exciting products in here. I see Real and CDETI that we'll be focusing on pretty heavily today. And this is stuff that our team is, probably doing the most work on right now from a marketing point of view. We know that we're going to want to launch these, so we're getting all of the marketing materials, all of the explanatory stuff, all of the FAQs. We're drafting press releases. We're working on partnerships, etc., for real world assets and the Ethereum Trend Index. Of course, these are two of the real world assets is probably the hottest theme in all of crypto. So we'll make sure to dive into that. And then the research column, far left in green, our product team is actively researching products in this category. Alan, what does this mean for things that are in the research category?
Yeah, so I kind of think about the research category as like the top of the funnel, right? There's going to be a lot of ideas, a lot of opportunities that come our way. And they had to sort of filter through the research stage first before we will commit to developing and ultimately deploying and then launching. So the research and development process, it typically starts with something that looks like a business case, right? We want to understand what customers we're going after, what their needs are, how we can address those. There's a lot of instances where we take a hard look at what we think we can build and try and pair that with the problems that we think customers have. And, the conclusion is no. And so we will park that idea and move on to the next one. If we do feel confident that all of the value that we're creating is meaningful to potential users and that we feel like there's an opportunity for the product out there in the market, then we will sort of push for a little bit more technical detail on how we might go about building and then deploying that particular product. So once we get the business case completed, we'll look at what the actual product requirements are going to be. I would say of all the stages, the research stage is by far the most collaborative right now, just because we have contributors on the growth side, contributors on the product side, contributors on the engineering side that are all pitching in and participating in sort of the development of both those requirements and the value proposition that we think we can target for a given product. So it's a good way to think about it is that it's really, that there's a cutting floor in a sense right there at the research stage. So there's always good ideas coming our way. A lot of them come from external partners, community members, people like that. And so we try and take all of them, very seriously and see what all we can wrap our arms around and potentially advance to development stage. But it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work. I'd say we try to set a high bar right now in what makes it from research into development, just because there's a lot of value to the resources that we would allocate to make some of these things a reality.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, resources are limited. We have a small team. Only the best ideas can progress. Yeah. Every Index Coop product begins as just an idea. They do not all make it on chain. Let's move along here to new and upcoming products. Beginning first with a new product, but not an upcoming product. It's already on chain and it's been launched. It's available today. It's IC21, the large cap index, the first large cap multi-chain index all on Ethereum. We partnered up with 21Co. 21Co created some wrapped assets to bring new large cap assets on chain, and we were able to build an index using their wrapped assets. So it's powered by the 21Co wrapped tokens. There's some token logos on screen here that you may not be quite as familiar or used to seeing in DeFi or on Ethereum, right? We've got the Solana pink in the far right there. We've got Cardano, or ADA. We've got BNB. Alan, I think you were kind of a lead product manager here. What is there to say about IC21 new into the world?
Yeah, so a large cap index is something we've been trying to explore and execute for a long time. One of the fundamental limitations that we faced until now is that we haven't had a way to actually include all of these different top 10 tokens in an index on Ethereum mainnet, which is where our protocol lives. So the 21Co team really stepped up in a big way in that they provided fully collateralized wrapped versions of all the assets that are not native or liquid on Ethereum mainnet. So of the 10 assets in IC21, 8 of them are not native to Ethereum. So that's the BNBs, the Cardanos, the Solanas, the XRPs. And so it's a really big deal that we can finally do this, and we could then enable exposure like this to customers. A lot of times when we're talking to users or contacts that are very new in the space, this is the first type of product they want to get their hands on. And then eventually, once they've done a little bit more research, they feel more confident they could go and pick and choose, maybe more specific or tailored exposure to different assets. But looking at the top 10 is a really reasonable place for people to start. And the partnership with 21Co has made it a possibility. But if you're familiar with wrapped Bitcoin, it's very consistent and common collateral nowadays out there in DeFi on Ethereum and on plenty of L2s. And this wrapped token model from 21Co works very similarly to the way that BitGo operates the wrapped Bitcoin product with custody on the back end, proof of reserves, all those sort of things. But it really is a great entry point for people that are looking to get exposure to the most promising projects in crypto.
Absolutely. Yeah. I was really excited about this one from a growth point of view. I mean, these are the largest assets in all of crypto. These tokens may not be as popular with the folks who are living and building on Ethereum every day, but they are the largest assets in crypto for a reason. They've got a lot of holders. They have enormous market cap. As a builder of index products, you want to be able to track the market, right? And you want to be able to provide people with exposure to the largest assets in crypto but it hasn't been possible with kind of the cross-chain bridging being DeFi's weakest link. So 21 Co brought these assets on chain onto Ethereum's chain more specifically, right? These assets, obviously, they're all crypto native digital assets. We brought onto Ethereum. We stuck a sweet link in the chat here for 21 Co site. Go to 21.co/tokens to learn more about how they brought those wrapped assets on chain and kind of eliminated the need for a product like that. Really cool to have put into the world. Moving on, next we're going to talk about real world assets, the hottest theme in all of crypto, not just DeFi, right? We're talking about bringing treasury yields on chain. We've got a product specific to just US Treasury yield. It's called ICT bill. We can call it a public credit index. Again, it's a diversified basket of all US Treasuries brought on chain, a variety of different protocols we've partnered with, Maple Finance, Flux, Open Eden, Ondo, right? Some of the big names in this space, and it's a hot one. There's a lot of new protocols constantly launching, trying to get a crack at this theme. Of course, US Treasuries are, kind of the largest yield source in finance. It's the benchmark yield, and crypto is a lot better for bringing that high quality yield, lower risk profile yield on chain. We're excited to be able to finally build with it. And we also have IC Real, which is a private credit index. So not US Treasuries, but a variety of other kind of debt offerings, other yield sources that we brought on chain. Again, kind of from the traditional finance world, not DeFi native yield, but we've brought different yield sources on chain, and you can get access to a diversified basket of those offerings. They're going to be a little bit higher yield than the US Treasuries, of course, a little bit higher risk as well. But we're really excited to have these two offerings. Again, this is in the second phase of our roadmap, past the idea phase, and it's in the development phase. And we're building these in part of a newer protocol called Alloy X. And again, here, what are we trying to get at with these products quickly, and then let's jump into kind of the Alloy X relationship. Who are they? Why are we partnering up with a different protocol for this?
Yeah, so I think that if you look at all the different sort of subsectors of DeFi or just crypto generally, like what the activity we see on Ethereum mainnet, one of the only sectors that's actually seen meaningful inflows this year has been RWAs. And RWAs, real world assets, would include things like tokenized treasuries and also tokenized private debt positions. So that's something that we've really been monitoring and trying to research for a long time now. The partnership with Alloy X is really meaningful because these RWA protocols are a lot less, just say permissionless because of all the regulatory considerations and the legal consequences associated with the public and the private debt that they issue. So the Alloy X team has done a lot of groundwork and smart contract development to make all of these different assets available in vaults or in index style products. So very excited to work with them on this. But if you look at the two different products here, you have something that's going to be a little bit lower risk, lower return. In the T-bill token, a very familiar source of yield for anyone that spent time in the TradFi world, which is most of us. And then IC Real is a little bit more of a higher risk, higher return product where we'll be able to give holders exposure to private credit positions from the likes of Goldfinch and Maple and Centrifuge and others. The other sort of unique aspect of these particular products is that they are going to be accessed via on-chain KYC. So that is a new problem for us to solve. And we have some good partners we're working with to do that. But it will be our first attempt at enabling access to products that are KYC compliant because of just a lot of the underlying dependencies with the issuing protocols themselves. So it's a really important part of the crypto economy that we want to be able to give customers exposure to. And we're thankful for our partnerships with teams like Alloy X that are going to make that a possibility here in the near future.
Absolutely. excited to talk a lot more about real world assets as these products begin coming to market. Again, we're doing a lot of the development work now, and we'll talk a lot more about this theme in the near future. But that is IC Real and IC T-Bill in the development phase of our product roadmap. Next, we're going to talk about the CoinDesk ETH Trend Index. Yes, we've partnered up with CoinDesk Indices to bring this product to market. CDETI is going to be the ticker. The trend is your friend. Automate your ETH exposure based on market momentum. So CoinDesk Indices has been putting out this Ether trend indicator for a few years now. And that's what you're seeing on screen here, the gray chart with kind of the green, yellow, and red. So you can see with the key there, what that ETH trend indicator is doing is tracking the price of ETH, and color changes based on the trend indicator. So there's a significant uptrend, which is that dark green, an uptrend, the lighter green, neutral is a nice orange, red is downtrend, and have different values that this Ether trend indicator can spit out. And it's predicted the price movements of ETH pretty good if you kind of follow along there on the chart. ETH is an asset that moves with a lot of momentum, and it is extremely volatile. So what this is doing is basically looking back at how ETH has performed in the recent past and trying to kind of predict how it's going to perform, in the near term future. So this trend indicator has really performed really well at kind of predicting ETH's price movements. And what we're trying to do here is to create a tokenized product that kind of uses that indicator to capture some of ETH's upside while reducing some of the downside volatility. I'm really excited about this one. Alan, where is this one in your in your work stream? It's on the roadmap. It's coming pretty soon. It's something that we're excited about in marketing.
Yeah, we're actually in the middle of the deployment stage right now for this particular product. So it's a really exciting unlock for us in terms of a token product that can track a data point or an indicator like this and trade based on the output of the indicator. So in the implementation for this particular product, we're going to be watching this CoinDesk ETH trend indicator value. And if the value changes meaningfully, so either to significant uptrend, significant downtrend, we will be rebalancing the assets inside of the actual token into or out of ETH and USDC based on what the indicator is saying. So if the CoinDesk feed is telling us that there's a significant downtrend, then the actual token itself will rebalance into USDC so that it dampens some of the volatility and potentially protects against some of the downside risk associated with just holding pure ETH. In the same way, whenever we see a significant uptrend signal from the Ether trend indicator from CoinDesk, we will rebalance the token into ETH and out of USDC so that we can try and capture some of the momentum to the upside. So it's definitely worth noting a product like this. It's untested. There haven't been products that have attempted to do this, at least not with the CoinDesk Ether trend indicator. And even though the back tests look fantastic, the old cliche is true. Past performance is not indicative of future returns. So it's a really fascinating product archetype that we're looking to unlock, and it also has some impressive performance, at least backward looking. But it is a much more sophisticated product, I would say. The strategy behind it is not going to be as intuitive as other strategies that we've tokenized, but definitely eager to get this one out there on chain. And partner with the CoinDesk team to make it a success.
Yeah, really excited to partner with CoinDesk. I mean, they have massive reach. Kind of probably the leader in kind of crypto journalism. And the CoinDesk Indices team has been working for a long time on products like this. They've got a lot of partnerships kind of in the traditional finance world because they've been putting out quality kind of database work. But yeah, CDETI, again, the trend is your friend. Automate your ETH exposure based on market momentum. So, we can't promise, again, past performance is not a promise of future performance, but we can promise to automate your discipline, right? To kind of remove the manual trading that you may have if someone tries to capitalize on ETH's momentum by hand. Maybe you buy the top and sell the bottom sometimes. You may identify with that. So this product is going to automate your ETH exposure to remove some of the emotion associated with trying to trade a volatile asset like ETH. Let's talk about DSETH a little bit. Again, we launched this back in January. The Diversified Staked ETH Index, a diversified basket of the top liquid staking tokens on Ethereum. I have just posted a proposal to remove the fees on DSETH. Kind of subheadline there. Should DSETH be converted to a public good? The TLDR here is we are considering dropping the fee. It's a very modest fee to begin with, 0.25% streaming fee. Again, that's annual. So holders of DSETH are paying a 0.25% annual fee to Index Coop. Again, for providing this diversification across the top liquid staking tokens. But we're considering removing that fee, dropping it down to 0. We feel like DSETH perhaps would be a great product if there was no fee, if it was a public good for the DeFi ecosystem. I think there's a lot of talk, a lot of concern with the concentration of liquid staked ETH in Lido's court specifically. I guess they have the lion's share here. We feel like DSETH is like a no-brainer for people that want to hold liquid staked ETH tokens and they want to set it and forget it. But perhaps they feel like there's not enough value to justify the 0.25% streaming fee on DSETH because there are so few components so far, right? We've got Staked Frax ETH was the most recent addition to DSETH, joining Rocket Pool's RETH, Stakewise's SETH2, and Lido's Staked ETH in the basket. But we were proposing, again, just posted this governance forum right now. So please go ahead and weigh in. We've dropped the link to the forum post in the chat here. We'll be all over our Twitter, or just go to gov.indexcoop.eth to weigh in. Do you think we should remove the fees on DSETH? Alan, what do you think about this proposal?
I think that it's definitely been a consistent narrative this year in crypto. It is, LSTs are going to be a big deal for a long time. We also know that there's a lot of risks associated with stake being centralized across different LST protocols. That was very much front and center for us when we were designing methodology for DSETH. I think that dropping the fee and just going, no cost at all for the diversification and the decentralization, within the token is something I'm excited about. I hope that other people are too. I think that we've also seen just the APR or staking rewards generally slowly trend down as more and more ETH gets staked. And while there are some blips here and there with more execution layer rewards, I think removing a fee just creates a little bit more value for token holders and allows them to capture that value. So I'm definitely a big fan of this product. And I'm hopeful that we could get good feedback from people on what they want to do with the fee. It is a relatively small fee today, but I think the diversification for free is pretty hard to say no to.
Diversification for free. Yeah, I mean, we would love to see DSETH be kind of the de facto LST collateral, or at least a dominant LST collateral. So, if we can get to that by removing the fee, I think, it was a very, very small fee, 0.25% per year. So I think if we can see it be adopted as a, again, as a popular collateral across DeFi, it'd be so good for the network. It's fine if there's no benefit to Index Coop's business. The fee was small as it is anyway. I think our thesis when launching it was, we want to make sure that we're providing value to people. So, the clearest way to see is, are people willing to pay for that fee? But there's so much competition in the liquid staking market. And again, like the goal for DSETH really was to allow people to diversify their portfolio. That's something that we believe in here at Index Coop, creating products that help people diversify their portfolio and their assets. And we wanted to incentivize decentralization in Ethereum. That was one of the primary goals for DSETH anyway, right? We want to, if you don't know, the methodology for DSETH rewards the most decentralized liquid staking tokens with a higher share of the index. So the idea was like, if people are going to create a liquid staking protocol, we want them to just focus on building the best product and the best staked ETH that they can. And they can be included in this basket and don't have to spend so much effort on the kind of individually doing their marketing, their business development, their integration efforts. So if we could see a diversified basket of the liquid staked ETH tokens, get integrated across DeFi and become an option that more and more people are choosing, it would be great for the Ethereum network. Again, to simplify the path forward for liquid staking tokens and for users, right? If I know that I can just buy this diversified basket of liquid staking tokens, I feel like that's lowering my and it's decentralized network. So again, go weigh in on this, and we will move the fee to 0 if kind of the community agrees with this path forward. There's a poll up on the forum about have you purchased DSETH? Would you purchase more if we drop the fee to 0, or you've not purchased it and you would purchase it now if we remove the fee? Answer very candidly in the poll, and reply if you've got some reasoning or opinions that you'd like to share with our community. gov.indexcoop.com is the most recent post, just posted today. It'll be easy to find. Now, finally, we're going to get into NPB's section of the show. He's going to be the star here as our head of engineering. We have recently created Index Protocol, and we've got a ton of protocol upgrades on the roadmap. So NPB, take it away. What is Index Protocol?
Yeah, absolutely, Cruz. So, as you mentioned earlier, Index Protocol is a good faith fork of Set Protocol v2, which is an asset management protocol which allows actors on EVM chains to create ERC20 compatible products, which are fully collateralized and able to be minted and redeemed by users for that collateral at any time. And so, with the kind of self-custody ethos in the crypto space, I think that such an asset management protocol is a great piece of infrastructure for the space. And, along with offering asset managers, the ability to offer their product in a simple ERC20, which can, plug into other places in DeFi, whether it be lending markets such as DPI being collateral on Aave, or AMMs, for tokens being swapped and provided as liquidity, to also being able to rebalance those products under the hood. And so really what Index Protocol is a set of smart contracts which provide asset managers with all the functionalities they need to allow users to mint and redeem for that collateral, allow the asset managers to rebalance in a number of creative ways, whether that's for the simple composite products, doing atomic swaps or auction rebalancing, for our leverage products, taking on positions in external protocols, or our trend indicator products, which are following a trend and executing swaps based on that. So really,
the Index Protocol, the Index Protocol, the foundation for every of the products that we've talked about today, every one of the products on our roadmap, and every one of the products that will launch into the future here. And as you mentioned, it's a it's a good faith fork of Set Protocol. You were actually on the Set Protocol team before this, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that is a pioneering group of DeFi OGs. And so, looking back at Set Protocol V1, at the time, they were running the largest rebalancing auctions on chain. And that's something that helped inspire the auctions that take place for Make or Die. And so Set Protocol V2 is an iteration on that, which is a much more flexible and extensible architecture. And so Index Protocol, being a good faith fourth of that, allows our smart contract engineers today to add many new capabilities to the protocol, which enable new innovative products.
Absolutely. So there's a few icons that show up on the roadmap here. One for protocol upgrades and one for the sandbox. MPB, what you mentioned obviously Index Protocol is meant to be extensible, is meant to be upgraded. What kinds of things can we see being introduced as protocol upgrades?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that really the goal of protocol upgrades is to provide new unlocks for asset managers and new types of products which can be launched. And so most recently, the largest protocol upgrade was auction rebalancing. And, we'll get into that a little bit more later, but that's really a fundamental shift in how asset managers are managing the assets under the hood of these products. And so really the protocol upgrades are meant to enable new products and new features for asset managers.
Yeah, I mean, so all of our products on Index Protocol, most of them, I guess, actually, involve interfacing with other DeFi protocols. For example, ICETH uses Lido's staked ETH, which you can just buy on a DEX, and then no integration needed there. But it taps into Aave's money market. Aave recently introduced an Aave, V3 money market. We built a new adapter to allow Index Coop products to interface with that market, to use it to tokenize strategies that that use the Aave V3 market. Would that rise to the level of being considered a protocol upgrade when we just have a new adapter for a protocol, or are those two different things?
Yeah, absolutely. And so protocol adapters are a key piece of Index Protocol, which extend the modules which already exist. And as we see new smart contract patterns pop up in the DeFi ecosystem, the ability to add new adapters to our protocol is very major. And so a good example of this is our ERC 4626 wrap adapter. And so the ERC 4626 vault standard has popped up. A couple of years ago in DeFi, we saw many single asset vaults pop up, and all of them having slightly different implementations. And so for an integrator such as Index Coop to plug into all these areas is very difficult. Requires many custom smart contract functions. And so the ERC 4626 single asset vault standard works to standardize the interface of these single asset vaults. And so by adding that into our protocol, now we're able to wrap in and out of these assets. And so you get things like SDAI and Urn Vault integrations for free. And that's a major part of, adopting new standards in the DeFi space and our protocol upgrades.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, we gotta be able to get SDAI into our products one day. And it's a really exciting new brick, new money Lego in the ecosystem. We've got to get them all in there. SDAI, if you don't know, is kind of a staked version of the DAI stablecoin. So kind of like a liquid stake stablecoin in a way, except it takes a different kind of yield source, not a proof of stake yield like we know and love from Ethereum. But That's protocol upgrades on the left here. Well, again, we'll get into auction rebalancing in a second, but what is the sandbox here as well, right? It's something that is a little bit new to perhaps our users, but something we've been talking about internally for a long time. What is the sandbox?
Yeah, absolutely. So the sandbox is featuring on-chain deployments, which have gone through kind of our best practices here at Index Coop within smart contract implementation, as well as audits. And now they're pending our final push to widely distribute these products. And so these are things that are functioning, things that are using our latest and greatest protocol upgrades, and are being proven in production, kind of in the sandbox.
Yeah, there's an exciting one in there right now. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about today, but we've got a leverage staked RE product. I think is a great example of something that is currently in the sandbox. It's basically ICETH, if you're familiar with our leverage staked ETH product. Again, I think I mentioned earlier, ICETH is leverage staked version of Lido's staked ETH that uses Aave. We have built essentially the same sort of product. It's a tokenized leveraged staking strategy using RETH instead, Rocket Pool's RETH. I think right when we launched ICETH, we had a chorus of Rocket Pool maxis in our replies saying, why not RETH? When RETH? When are you going to do this with RETH? And the answer for a long time was, well, RETH hasn't been listed on Aave's money market. We can't build that strategy. But if you've been paying attention, if you're a Rocket Pool maxi, I'm sure you know this, that RETH has been added to Aave. So it's on the V3 market. So, and I mentioned earlier, we built an Aave V3 adapter. So we got all the tools to build it. When we had that adapter and once the liquidity moved over to Aave V3. So we were able to tokenize it. We built a leverage staked RETH product. We're calling it IC RETH. And it's currently in the sandbox because, again, staking yields have been down. So, the product is sometimes more profitable than holding just RETH. And sometimes it's like just barely break even. So we're waiting for staking yield to go back up a little bit or ETH borrowing costs to come down a little bit so that it becomes a clear no-brainer or at least a strongly viable strategy, at which point we will give it a marketing launch. We will hit the gas. We will get it all over crypto Twitter. We'll get it on podcasts. We'll do a press release. We'll do co-marketing with a Rocket Pool community, and we'll push this product to everyone. But for now, it's in the sandbox. It's working. It's using our battle-tested infrastructure. It's taking advantage of our latest and greatest protocol upgrades, and it's hanging out in the sandbox. So that is a product that has been deployed, but not launched.
Yeah, and that's a really great example of, the sandbox and how we're using it, because we are able to separate the paths of engineering functionality and the specific market dynamics for a product.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a marketing point of view, it's really nice to know that the product that you're about to launch already exists, already has been working, already has been deployed. Eliminate a lot of kind of changing timeline risk. If you can have a product already deployed, hanging out in the sandbox, being tested, and it's ready for you to pick up and throw it out into the world. So, engineering is exciting about the sandbox. Marketing is excited about the sandbox. Users that can go into the sandbox and use a product, they're excited about the sandbox too. So we're excited to just kind of have that as another tool for us to play with on our playground to extend the sandbox metaphor. One of my favorite graphics we put out in recent months here on the left, Index Protocol. We've got an astronaut planting the Index Coop flag on base. What is this depicting, Pranav? What is Index Coop doing on the moon on base?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a huge fan of this graphic as well. Huge fan of Base and what they're building. And this graphic signifies the deployment of Index Protocol on Base, which is the deployment of all our smart contracts the factories, the modules, the adapters, which we discussed, which enable asset managers to create these products. And so with that protocol deployment on Base, we're able to create things like simple composite products, leverage staking products, and more, which you're familiar with in our Ethereum ecosystem.
Index protocols on Base, guys. Coinbase's L2, of course, one of the hottest L2s, one of the fastest growth ramps we've seen of any L2. We're excited to deploy the protocol there. That is the first layer 2 deployment for Index protocol. So we're really excited to have that flexible infrastructure to Base. So, now the map can start with products that are in development that are native to Base. Some of them will sneak over and get deployed. They'll be in the sandbox on Base. You'll be able to test them out, and eventually we'll be launching products on Base. So really excited about that. We've got one diversified ETH yield product that's already listed on our roadmap. That is going to be a Base native product. One of the underlying components will be an IC CB ETH. So again, leveraging that leveraged liquid staking strategy by using Coinbase's CB ETH token. It will be one of the main components of the diversified ETH yield product native to Base. So very excited to start launching some products. You may have seen us in the Base news a little bit. We got a grant, one of 5 winners for the Build on Base grants program for deploying call on their L2. And let's take a look at one protocol upgrades we've recently brought to market. This one was part of that recent audit with Sherlock. It's been deployed. The auction module, again, handing the mic back to Pranav. What's the auction module?
Yeah, absolutely. The auction rebalance module is one that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that I worked on from ideation to implementation, all the way through our public Sherlock audit contest, which was a fantastic experience, and finally deployment and integration into a new exciting product. And so the auction module is kind of like a 0 to 1 shift in how asset managers can rebalance on Index protocol. In the past, rebalances took place through taking markets, through executing AMM swaps. And now, through the auction module, the liquidity of the collateral within products can be used to make markets. And this is really exciting because it can have significant impacts on the price execution, and it takes away a lot of logic that has to be built for specific AMM swaps and pushes it away from our protocol onto market makers. And so, IC21 will be the first product that rebalances via auction, and it'll allow liquidity to be aggregated from across the DeFi ecosystem and brought to these rebalancing Dutch auctions. And so, very exciting upgrade, hoping to see the market making ecosystem around these auctions grow and flourish over time.
Yeah, there's a lot of maturing for crypto markets to do. And we're excited to kind of tap into the best order flow, the best execution we possibly can with new things like the auction module. I think the bottom line here, we've been investing in our protocol. We've been updating our protocol to make it more robust, more efficient, and deliver the best UX we possibly can to make Index Coop the no-brainer best place to build structured products in all of DeFi. And yeah, IC21, the first products to use this auction module. Again, IC21 is a large cap crypto index that brings all of the top crypto assets to Ethereum into a simple large cap index token. Really exciting to not just like build kind of see this auction module go from idea to code to getting the chain to getting audited, but to launch a new product that takes advantage of it in such a cool way immediately. Shout out to everyone that worked on this. Pranav, again, this is your baby, but the whole team, huge upgrade for Index Coop and Index Protocol. So that's the roadmap. indexcoop.com/roadmap. If you want to check it out for yourself. If you're in our Index Insiders program, you've had access to the roadmap for a while already. What is Index Insiders? Insiders is a program for our closest supporters to kind of like a little focus group, right? To give constant feedback to our team. If you're in our highest value customer segment, we want to, of course, talk to you about our products. We want to talk to you about our products as they're in the idea phase, as they're in the development phase. And certainly we want to let you know about products once they're in the sandbox and ready for you to play with. So you can join the Index Insiders if you hold $1,000 worth of any Index Coop product or index token. The way to join, you can go to discord.gg/indexcoop. Hop in there, join the insiders. You'll be taken to guild.xyz to verify your wallet holdings. Make sure you have $1,000 worth of any product. And you can join our Index Insiders group there. Again, to get early access to information, but also more collaboration with the team. If you have strong feelings, you're excited about any of these products, we would love to talk to you. If you're a DeFi customer, if you're a potential, target, you're going to target to your liking, with your feedback in mind. So please book a call using this Calendly link with our customer research team. Calendly.com/indexcoop. You can find it. Here's the link. We'll tweet it out. We're looking to have, again, now that we've made this roadmap open to you guys, we want to talk about it. We want to hear from you guys about these products. So book a session. If the CoinDesk ETH product, the ETH trend indicator, sounds particularly interesting to you, or the diversified ETH yield product we talked about on Base, go ahead and book a call and talk to our customers research team about those products. Thank you, everyone who's joined us here today. Of course, this stream will be up on our YouTube channel. It'll be on our Twitter feed for a little bit. We simulcast it over there. So, until Elon pulls the Twitter API or something, it'll be hosted there. But it'll be forever on the YouTube channel, youtube.com/indexcoop, as well as on our LinkedIn channel. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. I don't think there are any questions in the chat that have been answered. We had Brad and Kind Eagle from our team kind of answering stuff as they come in. So we'll go ahead and cut it there. To Pranav, our head of engineering. Thank you to Alan, our head of product, for joining me here today. That's going to be it for the September community call. Unless Brad wants to interrupt me. Reading the chat, one question about competitors. They're going to get that answered. They're going to share the industry report. Okay, yeah, Kind Eagle, please go ahead and toss the link to that one in the chat. Might as well plug another piece of high quality research that our team has put up. We've got a structured products white paper. It is called The State of the On-Chain Structured Product Market. I can pull the link here myself. Oh, there it is. indexcoop.com/whitepapers really is the link you want to go to find that. Index Coop's annual report on the on-chain structured product market. We examine the largest protocols and product types attracting the most TVL in the industry. We examine the history of the market and its current makeup, its headwinds, tailwinds, and important trends impacting builders. It is about a 10 to 15 page white paper, quick and easy read. But if you're interested in on-chain structured products, if you're interested in kind of the future of DeFi, check it out. Again, we go through not just Index Coop products, but the entire industry. People like Summer.fi, formerly Oasis, mentioned in there, MakerDAO, Ribbon Finance, all the big players in our industry are covered in that report. But that's it. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching the stream. Go ahead and drop us a like on YouTube, subscribe to the channel. We've got a number of videos on the channel that live on that will be available for you. That's all. Signing off. This has been the Young Crews, not PB, and Alan or C Squared ETH from Index Coop.